Today is July the 4th and it's a wonderful morning. The temperature's really low, really strange for Arkansas this time of year, but it's nice and cool. There's no sun out, none of that blistering heat. I have my potato basket ready, and I expect to fill this up many times. By the way, I have hired a dump truck to come pick them up in about an hour and a half, and we're going to go ahead and take them on down to the local produce market, maybe make a few bucks out of them. And I've got the old garden fork ready. So we've already dug up a few the other day. I did, just to see what I had, and we got about I don't know, maybe 2.5–3 pounds of potatoes, which wasn't bad. So the rest of this garden, you know, I'm expecting a bumper crop this year. So let's get started. We're done. We are done.
You want me to cancel the dump truck?
Yeah, maybe you better.
Alright, will do.
Well, wifey says she's not going to eat these white potatoes. They look like lizard skin. That's pretty funny, actually. And so what we're going to do is, but we're not done yet. We are not done yet. We're going to go ahead and dump these potatoes right over here. And then we're going to go over there and we're going to empty those 2 pots right there. Yes, we are. Those are our experimental pots, remember? And then we're going to empty these 2 pots right here, also experimental pots. And then I have various potatoes planted in the raised beds. So let's start over here. I can't imagine what happened here this year. Just very bad soil, I guess. But guess what? At the end of this video, I'm going to show you what my plan is for next year. So let's tip some pots over. Now these pots, remember, had big holes drilled in the bottom, and then they were sunk down into the dirt. So the roots, the object was that the roots could grow through the holes and develop the potatoes in the pot. But you know, this one is grown in the actual soil. Those over there are grown in the compost in the raised bed. I wanted to see if there was any difference in yield of any kind, if we got any at all. So let's start with the black bucket, the 5-gallon bucket, and see what that gives us. Now there's the holes I drilled in. I drilled pretty good sized holes all the way around the sides and in the bottom. And it doesn't look like we did better in the bucket than I think we did in the garden. Look at that. That's not too bad. Not too bad at all. The skins look pretty good in those, huh, honey? A lot better than the other. My goodness. I'm kind of surprised that we even got this many. Here's another one. Not as many as I would have liked, but they're better looking. Get this stuff out of the way. One thing about living in the country, all you gotta do is throw it over in the weeds when you're done. Well, that's pretty darn good. I like the looks of them, even though we didn't get that many. Well, let's tip over the next one, see what we get there. Well, not as good as the bucket. And I think it's my own fault. I think I overwatered these things. And we only got 3 potatoes out of there. They don't look bad, but it's not what I wanted. And this one here, not happy about that at all. So, like I said, it's my own fault. I think I have some rotted potatoes down in there. My own fault on that one. Let's go take out the other buckets. In addition to the buckets, I planted a potato plant there and one there. So we've actually got 4 things to dig up here. Now that's not too bad for both buckets. That's almost more than what I got out of the entire garden. These are pretty good sized potatoes too. Look at that. Not too shabby. But I didn't have the rot problem quite as bad in here because we have good drainage. You know, it would drain down through the compost and right on out. So, but there were a couple of rotted potatoes. Let's dig up the 2 corner ones and see what we got. Maybe I can do it right here on camera. See what we got, if anything. And we got some small ones on the bottom. And, oh my goodness, we do have some taters. Look at here. Look at this. Not too shabby. Anyway, next year there's going to be a whole different way of growing potatoes. I have been doing a lot of research, and I found out that my problem is where the garden is located. The garden is located under all these trees and everything. and the potatoes are not getting enough sun. It's the same with the radishes. So we're going to relocate our potato patch way over yonder there in the sun. Of course, there's a water spout over there. I can water them if need be. But we're going to plant them entirely different, but they're going to be over there. All right, let me dig up this other one. By the way, wifey says she's not going to eat any of these potatoes we dug out of the garden patch. Can't blame her. Maybe the red ones. The white ones are not going to be eaten. Well, so far so good. What we're going to do now is dig up all the little stray potato plants that I planted in the rest of the raised beds and see if we can't add a few more taters here. The wifey's picked through all the bad potatoes, what she doesn't like. She says she's not going to eat these. If she saw them in the store, she'd never buy them. Okay, fine. Now, she picked out all the red ones and threw them in here. She said they're not too bad. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to throw these away. I think I'll cut them up into small pieces. There's a creek next to where I work. There's a bunch of turtles down in there. Some of them are very large turtles. I think I'll cut them up in small pieces and just feed them to the turtles. They'll love it. This year's potato patch I set up with the boards was 8 by 16. 16 long, 8 across. Next year we're going to make it 16 by 16. We're going to double the width of it. And this is what we're going to do. Right in this area here is where we're going to put the 16 by 16. And we're going to use a potato growing method that will astound even me. I looked it up. It's just, I was flabbergasted by what I saw. It worked for them with almost no effort, and by golly, it's going to work for us. I'm so confident that next year's crop of potatoes is going to be so overwhelming, so large, so abundant, utilizing the new method right here, that I'm going to go ahead and accept Buzz's offer to, the loser has to restore a radio on YouTube, step by step, provided by the winner. Okay, I wasn't ever going to do that, but I tell you what, I'm so confident now that I'm not going to have to do it. Buzz, just get all your bench clean, get all your stuff clean. This time next year, you're going to need space to repair a radio. All right, I think that's about it. I hope wifey canceled that dump truck. Of course, I understand that Buzz has not yet dug his potatoes up. I'll tell you what, I don't think I did so well. I did better than last year, but not so good. Okay, so he's probably going to whoop my butt again. But, like we say in Arkansas when our football team has a losing year, wait till next year. Until next time, this is John.